Hello and welcome to another edition of Top Hat Chat with myself, Street, and the Top Hat Gaming Man.
Yes.
Today on the channel we are going to be going over our first ever Patreon question submitted by one of our patrons.
Indeed, one of our lovely Patreon benefactors who helps fund this channel so all of you can enjoy it. Yeah, so thank them in the comment section.
Yeah, we haven't sold out. It's just a nice way of coming up with more content and having a bit of our Patreon benefactors' opinions on our show.
Yes.
Which I think is nice.
Although we have sold out.
A little bit.
Yeah, but yes.
But we're not going to admit that. Well, kind of.
Yeah, okay.
More ideas.
Yes.
Yeah, anyway. So the question that we are going to go over today is one on a topic that has never particularly done well on either Top Hat Chat or the Top Hat Gaming Man channel.
No, whenever we seem to discuss this subject on either channel, it gets not that many views, which I would guess relates to the fact that our audience is rather mature. And when I say mature, I mean old.
I would like to disagree with you, but yeah, our statistics don't lie.
Exactly. Yes.
Which is not a bad thing. It's nice to have, but we do have some younger viewers as well. So the 200 or 300 of younger viewers that we do actually get on these videos.
Yes, but when you look at the analytics and you see the age of 40% of the viewers, it would make sense why there'd be a 40% drop off in views.
Yeah, it's more like 60% drop off in
is it?
views.
Okay,
I think
yes.
is bad. But yeah, basically we've had this question. I'll read it out so we know what we're doing with. The question is from Ben Sainty. Who's one of our patrons. It says, I would like to hear your opinions on whether or not you think Pokemon has ruined retro gaming for a generation of kids from a nostalgic point of view. So it's a different point of view from what we ever put forward in the past.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
That's why we don't always do your views.
Yeah, but it's a Star Wars Episode 3 quote. Phantom, no. You know what I mean?
One of those ones.
One of those ones, yes.
Yeah. Not the good ones.
The best ones. Yeah, not the good ones, but best ones.
Okay.
On track.
He's 27 and grew up in the 90s. One Christmas, he was given a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Red, about the age of 8 or 9. And from that point onwards, I fell in love with the franchise at the detriment to all other games of the era. His Game Boy Color and later on the Game Boy Advance and DS turned into a Pokemon machine. Looking back, he realises that he made a mistake and have started journeying backwards to explore the games that were ignored. The sad thing, from his perspective, is that he missed out on what should have been a massive nostalgia trip going back to these games. And he's having to create new memories today. He had a Mega Drive as his first system, and spent lots of time on it. But yeah, I mean, so let's have a little look at this question in general. Did Pokemon ruin gaming, I suppose?
That's it's a double-edged sword, I would say, with regards to that question. I've got my things to say on both sides of the coin, on both sides of that argument.
Okay, well I'll let you start.
Okay, first,
and then I will interject.
First of all, I am not 27, I'm 32, so I've got 5 more years life experience than this gentleman at the time. And although, actually, I don't know where this person's from in the world, but I imported my games early from the United States.
Yeah. So
I did get to play a year earlier than the majority of Brits.
I did a few of mine as well, yeah.
But yes, I would say I found the game outrageously addictive, like nothing I'd ever played before. It was literally the gaming version of heroin, I would say. I would go that strongly with regards to the game.
Yeah, it was our first real experiences of actually getting to enjoy the JRPGs.
Exactly, yes.
You know, and that can't really be a bad thing.
Some people would have beat us to it if they played Final Fantasy VII first, but for many, Pokemon would have been a lot of Europeans' first JRPG. You're correct.
So, I mean, that's a good thing, because it opened my eyes to a lot of games that I probably never would have really played, or even maybe understood when I first picked them up.
So I think that's why I was so addicted to it. It wasn't so much the Pokemon and the branding, which would have played a factor into it, no doubt. It was more the fact that it was a JRPG, a genre of game I'd never played before, and realised how addictive it was, like grinding, doing stuff.
It came out for the Game Boy as well, which I know from previous discussions I've had with you, was pretty much doing nothing at the time.
It wasn't actually. This brings a good point, because I obviously saw the anime before I had played the games, and one of my friends at school had imported them from the US before I had, And I just remember being really disappointed when he told me there's Pokemon games, but they're on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. Like this huge mega franchise, and the games are on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
It was laughable at the time. Like the Game Boy. This was an old, dead piece of hardware.
Yeah.
No one was playing Game Boy anymore by the end of the 90s. It was literally old tat.
So it kind of gave you, and I didn't play on the Game Boy. I waited a little bit and got it on Game Boy Color, but I waited for it would have given you a reason to dust off that old Game Boy that had been sitting in a cupboard for a few years. Like,
I'd say yes and no. It took me, before I bothered getting it out on the Game Boy, my friend brought it around to my house and I busted out for Super Nintendo instead, so we could play it all together on the television.
So it gave you a reason to dust off your old Super Nintendo.
Indeed, yeah. So this was the Nintendo 64 era, and here we are suddenly playing with a Super Nintendo again. It was the first time gaming retrospectively, I suppose. And
I mean, from your specific,
so in anything, it done the opposite. Like, did it kill retro gaming? No, it didn't. It revitalised retro gaming. I was suddenly using a Game Boy and a Super Nintendo, which were both very dated pieces of hardware at the time. So if anything, it made me a retro gamer rather than the opposite. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, did you go back and once the Super Nintendo was out and connected to a TV, did you then maybe play some of the games that...
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah?
It pretty much, the Super Nintendo pretty much stayed out forever up to that point, and then I started playing all my Mega Man X's again, my Super Mario Worlds, my Donkey Kong Countries. So yes, I would say that was the first reason to get the Super Nintendo back out of the cupboard. And it's pretty much stayed out this very day. As you can see, it's
over there.
It's over there.
Yeah, it's looking almost green from this angle.
So you could make a strong case for the Pokemon saving retro gaming rather than killing it.
Yeah. Also, I think that another perspective to look at would probably be the fact that would those handhelds even really still be around and have games made for them?
Exactly. Like I said, the Game Boy was old, it was past it, and people suddenly started playing again. Even this, as Ben Sainty has pointed out, he's not mentioned it, but he was actually retro gaming himself.
Yeah.
He was playing it on a Game Boy Color. He was playing a game from a previous generation on a Game Boy Color.
Yeah,
so he was retro gaming.
And then he mentions the fact that he's going back now and playing all of these older games.
Because he missed them.
But would they have even existed if it wasn't for Pokemon keeping the handheld franchise kind of going? The handheld aspect of it going.
Handheld.
Yeah, I mean, would the GBA be as widespread? Would there be as many games come out for it if it didn't exist?
That's true. There's definitely an argument for it. But from another perspective as well, in regards to, like he said, he missed out on a lot of games over the period. I didn't so much miss out on games over this period. However, I will say I was suddenly... I didn't care as much as I used to because the Pokemon games were so good and so different that everything else I was playing, I just didn't have the same emotional investment.
Did you do the same thing that I did? Oh, I've got a new game. Put it in. Oh, this is a good game. I'm kind of Pokemon.
Yes, exactly. Like, I think the biggest example for me was Majora's Mask. I could not invest myself in it whatsoever, and I was in love with the Ocarina of Time, which I would have played probably just a few months before Pokemon was released.
Yeah. Okay.
So I loved Ocarina of Time, but when Majora's Mask came, I think I got the same Christmas, Majora's Mask and imported Gold and Silver the same Christmas.
Nice.
So Gold version was obviously it completely overshadowed Majora's Mask that year.
Yeah. Gold version was great.
Gold version is definitely a better game than Majora's Mask. Thinking back,
Gold and Silver, they're both pretty much.
And I'd say it took me up until very recently to make the effort to finally complete Majora's Mask.
And you still don't enjoy it as much.
No,
but would you still, if your first experience of Ocarina was now, do you not think you'd get the same?
Yeah, you could say that definitely.
Yeah. So you missed the nostalgia trip, and because a lot of people say Majora's Mask is one of the best ones ever.
But are they
better than Ocarina?
Are they just hipsters? That's my only fear. That's what I get a lot with these strange opinions. Just hipsters being hipsters. They want to say something odd for the sake of saying something odd.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, it's the same people who say the PC Engine's the best retro gaming system.
We know that's wrong.
It's those sort of people who say Majora's Mask is the best Zelda game.
Maybe.
It's the same people.
Maybe. PC Engine's good, just...
It's not the best though. Same as Majora's Mask. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, maybe. I'm a little bit indifferent on both. Like, not indifferent on both, but I see them as very similar. And I think it's just a second story with a very similar game. So I kind of see them as an even kilter.
Well, you might not know, you may know or not know this, but Majora's Mask was originally like DLC for the Ocarina of Time.
I did.
There was going to be the 64 disc system, and Majora's Mask was going to be Zelda Gaiden, I think it was called, which was basically the DLC content on. Well, it wasn't DLC because it wasn't downloadable.
But the equivalent of
disc content, add-on content.
It's just
an add-on pack.
Yeah.
And then they expanded.
It would just be LC.
And then
loadable content.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason they expanded it into a full game.
Yeah.
Which is why it's a lot smaller than Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Well, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've kind of diverged away from it a little bit. Do we actually think that Pokemon killed gaming? I think it probably rescued it.
I would say, I wouldn't say, it rescued handheld gaming. There was no question about that at all. Well, it rescued Nintendo handheld gaming because we've discussed this before as well. Yeah. Without Pokemon, would the Neo Geo Pocket Color have suddenly done better?
Maybe. Yeah.
Would the Wonder Swan have performed better?
Possibly.
Or even moving even further into history, the PSP and Vita.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a butterfly effect, isn't it? So we can go back and forth with this question all we can, but so many different events trigger future events to happen. It's hard to say.
I think that we would be missing out on something incredible if Pokemon didn't exist.
Yeah.
And going back to play them now is still great. So I think it would be hard to say that it ruined gaming at all.
I would say, to close the topic, experiencing Pokemon during its prime was like heroin, and it was so exciting that maybe you did overlook games over the period. However, without Pokemon, like I said, where would the handheld scene be today?
Maybe a lot of the games that we're going back and enjoying today and discovering today would not exist.
No, because the Game Boy Advance wouldn't have been so popular as it was, or the Nintendo DS, or even the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
So that's a wrap, I would say.
I suppose so. Do you want to do a proper close?
So, Ben Sainty, thank you for your lovely Patreon donation. It's very helpful in pushing this channel forward. If you too would like to become one of our patron benefactors, then find the link in the comment section and you can ask us a question like this, which we will attempt to discuss in depth on this channel. I have been the Top Hat Gaming Man. This has been the Cougar Boy, Luke Street. And let us know in the comment section if you think Pokemon killed retro gaming. Was that the original question?
Sorry, I'm just focusing on the fact that
Cougar Boy Luke Street. Sorry,
I'm upset with you.
Yes, Ken. What was his original question? So who closed this?
I don't know. Did it ruin gaming?
So yes, answer his question as well, ladies and gentlemen. Cheerio!
If you do that again, I'll take your hat. Cheerio! I'd like to give a shout out to Michael Keneally, Ben Sainty, as well as all of our other patrons. You help keep this channel going. And if anybody else would like to donate to this channel, we have a link in our description.